Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Star Citizen. And today we're gonna be talking about shopping. Yes. So you may have noticed that my guy is not quite equipped the same way you're gonna be spawning in when you're playing Star Citizen for the first time. I do have the same EVA suit, just in a different color, but everything else is stuff you're gonna need to buy. So we're not gonna be talking about how you make the money to buy stuff in this video. That's gonna be for the next one, but we're gonna talk about how to spend the damn money. And well, in each station, and I will go through each station in this video, in each station you have a selection of stores, and not all stations have all the stores. Some stations have stores that are specific to that one location, but I'll go through Port Olisar and I'll talk about everything as we go. So, for starters, we have Kasaba. This is a chain store that is available throughout the UEE through human space, and each Kasaba might have a different selection depending on the location, but they'll all have clothing, basically. So, when you want to buy stuff, there's two ways of doing things. You have, those shelves here, and those are NPCs because, you know that they're not players because you can't move them around, and they're going to be pushing you around, and they're going to be, like, staring at the friggin' things forever. It is annoying, but, that's the way it is. Anyways, immersions and stuff. So if you want to have any piece of clothing, you can just walk up to that and hold F, interaction again, and either buy or try on, depending on what you want to do. Let's say that I want to try on this shirt here. Oh, look at the... Oh, shit. I got more stuff, actually. That doesn't work. Alright, let's see this one. Let's try on this superb jacket. Oh, look at that. I look like I'm in the Matrix. So I don't like that. But yeah, it's going to work the same for everything. So say I want to buy this... I don't know, nothing I want to buy. This one here. Alright, the Atari Olive, or whatever. Brings up the Moby glass. You have the description. You can hit confirm, and it's going to say the cost, 610 UEC, and what you're going to be left with once you're done. So buy it. Alright, it's done. So press F1, closes the thing. Sometimes reopens it because just to be annoying. And it's going to be working the same for every display. Some stores, that's going to be in Lorville, by the way. Some stores will have stuff outside the store, in the storefront, and you can buy those items too from there. Now, some stores will not have their full inventory on display, and you're gonna have to go through the trading terminal. And here you have absolutely everything. So you choose, whatever category you want, and it's basically it's pretty straightforward. You click on the item you want, you click buy, you say how many you want, because you can buy, say, 1,857 pants. Because for whatever reason you go through pants like you're going out of fashion. Personally, I don't want that, but you do you. I'm not gonna be judging you. Anyhow. So yeah, that's how you buy clothing. You have the Dumpers Depot. You can go straight through here, or you can go and find, from the center room. This is through here. You can get in. Doesn't matter where you get in. So this one sells all the ship stuff. This particular location only sells shields and ballistic weapons. So yeah, you have a limited inventory for each location, and you might need to visit multiple locations to constitute a whole mess of things for a ship or for your outfit. Because for instance, my outfit here, the EVA suit comes from Lorville. All the, I think the core parts coming from Lorville. The helmet comes from Levski, and the rest of the armor, I'm not entirely sure. Actually, I think it all comes from Levski, the rest, but whatever. So, you also have in Port Olisar, you have Garrity Defense, which sells the EVA suits. So you have multiple you know, EVA suits on display, but not all of them are on display. In this particular case here, you need to buy every piece of armor. So that the stuff that is highlighted in orange here is the core piece. So that's, you know, what's defining your attachment points. So how many weapons you can have, how many magazines, that kind of stuff. You have the helmet, which you can buy separately, and be careful because one of the helmets, not the ones here, but one of the helmets at Lorville does not actually two at Lorville do not provide oxygen. So if you use one of those, you will freaking die if you go outside in the atmosphere. So just keep that in mind. You need a real, like, EVA helmet. So all of those, they provide ballistic protection and oxygen, but it's going to be pretty obvious which ones don't provide, you know, oxygen. These, for instance, they provide oxygen but no ballistic protection, but they have an unobstructed view of the outside. That's pretty cool. These, man, they're a little more restrictive, and it's particularly this one because the heavy armor actually restricts your field of view quite a bit. So let's, for instance, this one, this is a light helmet, but just to show you the difference, I'm going to equip this guy here, which is the heavy, it's a one heavy helmet. And the difference is quite dramatic because, as you can see, I'm seeing the outline of the helmet. And if you have a wide, ultra-wide screen or multiple displays, that is not going to change. You will have obstructed views. So if you have like two displays on each side of the... Well, one display on the either side of the central one, you will have an obstructed view because that's a balancing point for the universe. And finally, in Port Alsar, the last store we have is live fire weapons. And yeah, you guessed what it sells. I mean, it sells, you know, firearms, magazines for said firearms, and very, very, very important thing, the med pen. And the med pens, actually, default bind, by the way, is V. You will need them. Don't forget to equip them. Because sometimes there are bugs, and when you go across, say an elevator, or a loading dock, or a ladder or something, you might get hurt. And if you don't apply a med pen right away, you will die. Alright? So just keep in mind, you need a good stock of med pen. Like I said, a dozen is not by any stretch overdoing it. Having a good stock of med pen is important. They don't cost all that much. So have that. And you have the oxypen, which is essentially, yes, it's oxygen in a pan. So you just stab yourself with that. I think the bind is B. There you go. There was no pen in my hand, but let's pretend it was there. And that gave me full oxygen, even though I was already at full oxygen. But it was to demonstrate how it works. And the med pen works exactly the same. You stab yourself in the arm and, well, you know what? V. Oh, maybe because I'm out of med pens. So let's go into, well, how do you get those med pens? Well, it's pretty simple. Under utility, oh, actually I already had one. You've got the med pens, so you need to equip them because if it says empty here, that means you don't have any. And they are just, you probably see it under the, let's remove it actually. There you go. These are 2 oxypens, and the red ones are the 2 med pens. There you go. And you, every time you need to click on, you know, validate and save. Or apply and save. I don't know. I can't see it anymore. But that's how it works. And you need to make sure you have, well, at least 2 med pens and 1 oxypen is usually enough because you're rarely going to run out of oxygen. But it can happen. So 1 is a good idea. 2, I'm kind of overdoing it. But every time you use 1, remember to re-equip, because they don't automatically get re-equipped. So yeah, that's a good thing to do. So yeah, Port Alsar has a selection of basic selection. I mean, I say basic even though it has every weapon in the game, I think. But the thing is, I personally like, you know, having my weapons a certain color. And for instance, right here, I should have the nothing. That's a bug. That's fine. Because I believe that there's a little bit of a glitch in the game, and when you equip something, when you change your outfit in inside an armistice zone, the weapons don't get like drawn on your character, but when you are outside, and you can still interact with your weapons normally, so that's really not a big deal. But for instance, with that outfit, if I wanted like a very multi-purpose, like very versatile loadout, I would go for one Gallant rifle with the midnight skin, which is just flat black, nothing more. And then you turn around every time you equip a weapon. Remember, you don't get backup magazine unless you equip them. So Gallant, here we go, and Gallant, here we go. And I have a arc-light pistol. The arc-light pistol, well, actually, you know what? This one is actually the green one because I was using another armor earlier, and I want the midnight too here. So here we go, midnight arc-light pistol. And because it has 60 shots worth for each battery it uses, you don't really need all that much. And I would usually, if poop was to hit the fan, I would rather have plenty of magazine of my primary weapon. But as you can see, the Gallant rifle, so that laser rifle here, it has 100 shots worth in each battery, so 120, sorry. So you don't really need to have that many backup magazines. So I like to have a backup magazine for my my pistol. I mean, there's no reason for you to be shooting like what 480 rounds, well, not rounds, but shots with the Gallant, because if you, by the time you have shot your 480 shots, if you haven't killed everyone, I mean, you're in deep trouble. So you just might as well just throw your gun away and run like crazy. Run, seriously. But yeah, that's stuff you need to know. Now that we've bought, well, that you've bought, because I already have everything. Now that you've bought armor, EVA suits, weapons, and street clothes, maybe you'd like to use your street clothes when you have oxygen. Just don't use that in space. Bad idea. How do you get your street clothes? Well, that's pretty simple, actually. It's a one-click kind of deal. Well, maybe 2 clicks kind of deal. 3 clicks! Alright, you got me. It was 3 clicks. So you click undersuit. You click unequip on whichever undersuit you have. Oh, check it out. That's the second click, by the way. And apply. And then you can close your Moby glass. It will reopen sometimes, and you want to punch the screen after a while, but there you go. I got a fancy worker here. Village people. Oh, what is that? Wait, what is that? Is that Wheel of Death? Oh, how awesome that! Man, I'm like a kid at Christmas, seriously. So, that's how we get your like street clothes. Man, I really like this outfit. Like, I mean, I kind of wish we had like a tool belt or something with like a pipe wrench and some screwdrivers and maybe a blowtorch. But that's just me. Anyways, now that you've got to your street clothes, you have all the clothing stuff here that are unlocked, and you can choose more of your clothing, because once you have the undersuit, the only thing you can have is the eyepieces. And by the way, don't freak out, you don't need to re-equip everything. If you find the undersuit you were wearing, click on it, everything is re-equipped the way it was before. So you see that I got my 3 magazines here, one here, and my Gallant rifle, midnight skin. So yeah, no reason to freak out. And by the way, I'm gonna change my helmet to the one I had before, because this one has a more unobstructed view, and I prefer this one. It kind of looks cool. And by the way, the one I was talking about, this guy here, the helmet, as you can see, doesn't protect the nose and mouth. That's because it doesn't have oxygen. So don't use that for for going out. And by the way, if you remove your helmet, you have your head free, so you can go back to... Nope, you can't. You can go back to your hats here, and there's the other one I was talking about. This thing here, essentially it's a plastic bag. But this guy is only an air filter, essentially. Yeah, no, it's kind of dumb. But see that? It's essentially just a plastic bag with like filters and stuff. That does not provide oxygen. It only filters the atmosphere around you. Alright? So don't use that for EVA. You're gonna die. So now we're gonna move on to... Well, let's start with Grimhex because it's the closest one. So if you remember from last video, or maybe you didn't see it, but in case you don't remember or you haven't seen it, Grimhex is around Yela. So to get there, you know, we open the star map and we find Grimhex around Yela. So in Grimhex, you have, well, depending on what size ship you have, but I'm assuming you have the small size ship for now. You'll be assigned one of those pads here. Can't really see it well because it's in the dark for now. But you go up here in the tunnel. Make a left here because that's where the airlocks are. And go through the airlock. So now that you're here, make a I mean, you have your you know, your ship terminals here if you want to call a different ship, file a claim, whatever. That's the ship terminal. And then you have these two elevators here, and we have the one here, so let's use that one. Then you go to the main concourse, which is the downstairs, effectively. And now from here, so on this side here, that's the bar, the red door here, and for some reason, here we go. The texture wasn't streaming in. No big deal, that's our bar. Well, not our bar, but, you know, the bar from Grimhex. This tunnel here and this one here, they lead to the same place behind there, which is, well, let me take you to there, is the clothing store. It's not a Casaba, it's a different one, which may or may not carry some very, shall we say, very tasteful items, you know? Like this guy. Oh, what the hell? I mean, you'll explore that stuff and, you know, you'll find stuff you may or may not like, but you have your various odds and ends in here. And you can go in or out through this guy here. It leads to the same place. Now, to the left, you have your trade terminals. Essentially, you know, it's where you buy and sell commodities, but that's for later. But it's good to know where it is because you need to know, you know, the lay of the land. Here, if I'm not mistaken, it's just nothing you are going to care about. I mean, if you care about exploration, you go down there, you'll explore for yourself, but it's not something that is very useful. So, anyways, above the bar, you know, if you remember, the bar is here, and you have those. It's symmetrical, so on the left here we have the same. But you have those stairs here. This double bulkhead, which is probably an airlock, but it's not really used as an airlock. Anyhow, on the right here, you've got the armory, essentially. I mean, you got, you know, as usual, you got your trading terminal. Here, well, it's a shopping terminal here. Yeah, armor, outfits, weapons. Some med pens, ammo, well, you know, that's where it is. And back in the main room, so if you remember, right now we're standing right on top of the bar. And the red, well, some weird stuff happening down there, but where you see those 3 arrows here, that's the Dumper's Depot, where you buy, this particular one will carry the energy weapons, which are not available as of now. That might change in the future, but they're not available in any other place other than this one. And it's a, I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer, and when I see this kind of stuff here like that, on the shelves, I'm like, I want to just play with them. I just want to like take them apart, plug them in, see what they do, and well, these guys here with the round thing at the end. Those are quantum drives. This particular guy here is a power supply. It's very bright. Sakura-san, what is it called? Daybreak. That's probably because of that damn light, which is blinding. You've got your Aegis power supply. I mean, you just shop and you'll see it for yourself. I mean, it's not very complicated to see. And wait a second, Greg. You told us there were energy weapons. Oh, but yeah, I did. And as I've told you also back in the LSR, you need to. Oh, okay, that one's not working. That's unfortunate. But you need to use these. Well, technically in development, they're called shopping kiosks. So yeah, that's where you buy your stuff here. So, you know, each tab tells you what you have, and that's what you're interested in. Probably the guns. In turrets, you have the Veripucks, which are the stuff that you need to use to turn your size X hardpoint into a size X -1 gimballed hardpoint, which means that you're gonna have, you know, the ability to use the mouse to point at the target and shoot. It's way easier when you have a mouse to use gimbals. In my opinion, though, it's not that much easier to use with a mouse, and I personally use all fixed weaponry in combat. But maybe at the beginning, you're gonna, you know, you're fighting against a lot of stuff, like, you know, flying your ship and such. So maybe you'll prefer starting with gimballed weaponry, and that's where you need to buy them. And the way you know which size to choose is S for size 3 here. That means it attaches to a size 3 hardpoint. So if you have a Hornet, for instance, which has size 3 hardpoints on the nose and wings, you're gonna need these size 2 mount. It will mount a size 2 weapon on, because you lose one size, so just to avoid any confusion. So that sells it for Grim Hex, and now we're gonna, oh boy, we're gonna find our way to, say, the R&R, which is the Rest and Relax, and it's at the Crusader Lagrangian point number 2. And you're gonna ask, well, Greg, how do we find this? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, you know what? As you would have expected, you open your map, you zoom out, and whoa, zoom all the way out, and you see here Crew L2, that's Crusader's Lagrangian point number 2. And you see Hurl 3. That's very unfortunate, but that makes me laugh. That's Hurston's Lagrangian point number 3. Anyhow, Cruel 2, sorry, Crusader Lagrangian point number 2 has a Rest and Relax. Actually, a lot of those Lagrangian point now have the Rest and Relax, unless you're only playing 3.3.0, because this is 3.3.5. But yeah, it works the same as traveling normally. You know, when you arrive, you can see those red lights here that lead you to the space station, and that's how you know where to go. And we were upside down. That happens, you know. You should probably, at this point, be requesting a pad to land, but I'm a little lazy.
Warning, collision 4.
And I just don't feel like it. So what I'm gonna do is get out of my ship and abandon here. But I'm not technically abandoning it here. I'm just parking, like, not on a landing pad. That's fine. They're probably not gonna mind. So you find, you know, you find yourself a landing pad either through calling the air traffic control, the landing service. And the reason why I'm not doing that now is because in this particular version, the landing service is a little bugged, and they don't attribute you a landing pad, and then they keep calling you on the radio again and again and again, telling you that, well, we don't have any room for you, so you just wait a minute. So that can be annoying, but basically you find your way to the, well, to the inside. You find the, you know, sort of a gate here. That, by the way, this little blue thing, eventually it will change, I'm sure, but this is an atmospheric shield. So the way you check for atmosphere presence is you open your Morbiglass, and you're gonna see pressure and gas composition. So as long as you have about 21% oxygen, and eventually you're gonna have to make sure that there's not like poisonous gas like fluoride or something like that. Just a little warning, because eventually there's gonna be poisonous stuff. So if you have 21% oxygen but you have like super poisonous stuff, just don't remove your helmet. All right. And you need to have about 1 atm of pressure. That's 110, 120 hectopascals. For those of you who know what that is, it's pretty fun. Anyways, you come in here, call the elevator. It's gonna probably take a while because that thing is kind of like beat up. But eventually it's gonna make its way to you, and then you go to the lobby. And eventually, the elevator is gonna take you to the lobby. And in here, you're gonna have a clothing store. Okay, so normally the Platinum Bay here, this blue place, is a sort of a blue building that is near a POI on the moon or on a planet or whatever. And this is where you would go to spawn a land vehicle, like a buggy, a space bike, whatever. But in this particular setting here, this is the place you go to buy shit. What the hell? What is it? Are you doing yoga or something? Dude, this is crazy. Well, anyways, so as you can see, they sell stuff. I mean, they don't have a huge selection here, but they have quite a few component types, so there's stuff that can be practical. Again, terminal here, choose the type of components you want. Moving on, down here you can go ahead and explore. That's not the topic of this video, but you're gonna have your oh, where's the, oh, here, oh boy, I was like staring at the wall to saying, where's my door? So you have some of the weapons here, and there, by the way, from station to station, the prices for the same articles will be different. For instance, here, this is normally the most expensive weapon, I think, and they're way cheaper than they are at Port Olisar. Everything is cheaper here than at Port Olisar. So if you can find a skin that you like here, that's not a lot of choice, I know. But, I mean, it's probably a good place to buy the weapons. And that's not supposed to say Kasaba, because that's a mistake. But, and yeah, if you can find one of the, a skin that you can tolerate, it's a good place to buy stuff because it's so much cheaper. It's less than half the price from Port Olisar, I think. Or maybe just about half the price. Yeah, looks like it. Then you have your Kasaba, that street clothing. And you have a slightly different selection from the Kasaba in Port Olisar. For instance, you don't see this one here, the blue one. And you get some t-shirts and stuff. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I mean, if you want to have the full picture in terms of street clothing, yeah, you need to visit everything. And that's about it. There is no, as far as I'm aware, yet there are no armor stores. So I'm gonna make my way back out, but there are ship terminals for you to spawn ships if you want. So now we're gonna be heading to Levski, and from here, Crusader L2. Levski is on the surface of Delamar, and alright, technically Delamar is not in the Stanton system, which is the only system we have right now. It is supposed to be in the Nix system, if I remember correctly. But for now, because Levski was a necessity to, work on certain features, it's been moved to Stanton for now. But eventually, won't be here anymore. So, click on Levski, set route. You have, whoa, we have quite a few checkpoints here, but it's fine. So we're going to be heading for Levski. And I'll see you there. So most likely when you're going to be reaching Levski, you're going to be going through a hangar. But because what I want to show to you, I'm not going to be requesting, a landing pad or the hangar, actually, technically. So I will be landing outside so I can show you more. But essentially, here you can see... there you go. You can see sort of like 5 big old doors. There you go. So, if we can stop, that would be great. So these 4 here are the hangars. 1 being here, the one near the sort of like spire, and 4 being this one. And here, this is the ship store. So that's not something you're gonna be seeing open for you when you're landing in. So normally, yeah, you would land there, but I will just take a little bit of a shortcut here, and we're not supposed to do that, but you know what, today I'm not gonna bother. So essentially, what I'm doing here is kind of like, it's not very nice to other people, because they might wanna move around where I landed. I kind of landed in bad position. The reason why I'm doing that right now, despite what I'm saying, is that because I know, because Lorville is brand new, no one's gonna come here, because Levski is a bit of a trap, and it's been for a while, and right now people don't want to have anything to do with Levski, so there's only people like me, like people who are masochist, basically. So this here is actually a garage, and this is where land vehicles would spawn normally. So if you want to load that into one of your ships, you can, you know, land your ships somewhere around here, as long as you know where they are. That's not a big deal. You know, travel with your land vehicle and shove that into your ship and take off. But here we're gonna be going in through the top lobby, which is where you're gonna be able to spawn your whoa! Ooh, almost just like pinched in the door. Anyway, so these displays here, they're they're ship terminals, but those only spawn the land vehicles, and they only spawn in the garages outside. So the way to go to the customs, which is where, you know, you're gonna be going in when you have your ships landed in one of the hangars. So this is where we came from, the top lobby elevators here. And these are the hangar elevators. So 2 here and 2 here. And as you've probably noticed, ship terminals, and that's the real ones. That's the one that are going to be spawning in the spaceships, and they're going to be spawning in the hangars. And those 2 there are also ship terminals. So if you want to visit Levski proper, you go through those customs here. No particular procedure, just walk by. Nothing else to do. Oh, we got an elevator here. No, wait for me, wait for me, wait for me. Yes! I don't know why it's open, though. Is it bugged? Anyways, you go to the Grand Border level. And this is where you're going to have all the stores. Upstairs, there's only the habitats. And that's where you're going to spawn if you die here or you respawn here or whatever. That's not really where you want to go on your own, like out of your own volition. There's nothing to do there. So this is the Grand Border. You've probably seen it in one of the CitizenCon demo, like probably a couple of years ago. Down here, you've got the, I can see it from here. You got some clothing items and some boots. Those boots here, with where the crosshair is, are unique to Levski. Everything, maybe these ones too, but everything else is purchasable somewhere else. So that's why you might want to visit Levski. So conscientious objects, that's a hard word to say for me, is where you're going to buy your all the weapons, and they may not carry different weapons from Alistar, for instance, but they carry different skins. So for instance, the Midnight skin here, which I personally like. Yeah, sometimes the interaction mode is a little bit of a bitch. Sorry for the, language, but that's the way it is. That's not my fault. Yeah, but yeah, the skins might be different, and maybe you don't give a damn. But personally, I like to have my, the colors that I want. Anyhow, so yeah, you got the multiple. Sorry about that. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was there when I came in. But yeah, all your weapons, and as usual, you've got more inventory here, or actually better and more practical ways to do it. And something that I might have forgotten to show you is that when you buy something, you can click on, well, max or 1, but you can choose how many you want to buy at once, which is something that you cannot do when... Oh, sorry, I was pressing F1 to close the mobi-glass, but I'm not in mobi-glass, but is when you buy something from a display, you cannot choose multiple items. You can only buy one, and that's it. So that's why you might want to... Yeah, that's why you want to probably buy stuff like magazines and oxypens and medipens. Medpens, sorry, not medipens. From a terminal rather than the display. And I like shortcuts, so I'm just jumping over the damn thing. And under here, there's... personally, I see quarteries. Because I don't know, maybe it's cord, or I don't know, I don't know how... Oh, shit! Alright, I got my nose pinched in the door. Actually, no, because I'm wearing a helmet, so what the hell? That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying that you need the med pens. Sorry. I just hurt my legs going up the stairs. And as I told you before, when you use a med pen, if you're not in combat or anything, you just remember to equip a new one and save and exit. Alright? Just do yourself a favor. It'll save you a lot of frustration. So Quarters has the, you know, EVA suits and some armor PCs. And yeah, by the way, that's I think what I'm... Oh no, that's not exactly what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the helmet, but the rest is not here. So yeah. More stuff to buy. And then finally, there's the Café Musin, which you might have seen during CitizenCon. It's upstairs, but the last thing you need to see proper, because I showed you from upstairs, it's this place here. That's the whole inventory. There's nothing else. So yeah, we can go back upstairs, and the Café Musin is this little shaft here. Well, it's not a little shaft, but this is where it is. You can you know, go in and explore for yourself. But that's about all there is in here. So now we're gonna move on to the meat and potato of 3.3.5, which is Lorville. And Lorville is a bit of it's a little difficult to handle. I'm gonna be fully honest with you, because there's a no-fly zone, and it's a huge planet, and figuring your way in and out of that place is a bit of a... Oh, that's a bit of a... Lorville is on Hurston, so you're probably gonna need to zoom out quite a bit. So, ooh, Crusader, and here we go. I don't know why it's all weird like that, but there you go. That's Hurston. Click on it, or you can double-click actually, because we want to go to Lorville. So you're gonna need to zoom in all the way in. Figure out where Lorville is. Oh, I can see it like here, but I can't. Here we go. Lorville, set route, and we're gonna be a little tight on fuel. I mean, we're not gonna be able to make our way back, so we're gonna need to find a way to refuel there. Yeah, it's probably not gonna be a problem, right? So, because this is a very long trip, it can take anywhere between a little over 6 minutes to well over 10 minutes, depending on the ship size you have. The bigger the ship, I mean, usually the bigger the ship, the faster it is in quantum. So essentially, if you have a big ship and you want to get there fast, take the biggest ship you have. So if you have a big ship, or at least a ship that doesn't have just a seat inside, you can just get off your seat during quantum drive. During quantum travel, and you can just move around. In this particular ship, there is not a lot of stuff to do. I mean, there's not much inside the ship, but we can open the bed here, and we can just, you know, get in bed. And eventually, you'll just drop out of quantum travel, and you're going to be around Hurston. And in case you moved around the ship and you've lost, like I did, the HUD that tells you the distance, you can always open the map here. Whoa, I zoomed out a little too aggressively. But you can see your progression basically. So I know I'm about a third of the way. So that's it. So because of the way Lorville is laid out, it has a no-fly zone. And what that means is if you get into the no-fly zone, your ship will blow up. That's as simple as that. And well, the way you're supposed to do it is you fly through this large, like gigantic gate, because as you can see, we're at 80 kilometers altitude right now. So that gate here is the way you're supposed to fly under it and then land at the port, which is here, this like brown patch here. You know what? I just don't feel like it. So personally, the way I do it, because it's like a lot less dangerous. It's simpler, it's quicker and all. So this little weird patch that goes into the town here, this here is actually gate 6. And that's where I usually go in because it's just way easier. So essentially you try to just, you know, flying around the city, not above it. And personally, I don't bother with trying to get to the port. It's just a waste of time. I've died countless times. The hangar is never open. It is a friggin' mess. So you just... Oh, Jesus Christ. What you saw flash right now in red was the no-fly zone. The zone that is enforced like deadly, you know. You fly and you die. So, yeah, I would strongly advise... So now, right now, you can see this little blue dot here. And there's a few around the city, although, I mean, the atmosphere is so horrible. I mean, you can't really distinguish it. But the flashy blue stuff here is just sort of a lighthouse that basically indicates the... Oh yeah, we're coming in close to the no-fly zone, so it's going to get a little sketchy here. But anyways, eventually you'll make your way close to the city walls.
Warning, collision 4.
I'm, well, I was going to say extremely lazy. It's not so much laziness as I don't like wasting my time. So I land very close here. Turn the ship off.
Deactivated.
Get off, and that's how you get into Lorville. So whether you get in through an external gate, like a periphery gate, or through the hangars, there's no way around riding the trains in here. I mean, it's such a huge city, so you're gonna have to ride the trains. So my personal advice was to go through gate 6, because gate 6 is very easy to see when you're like, you know, 100 kilometers up. As soon as you see Lorville, you're going to be able to see where the like gate 6 here is. Just because it has this shape that like goes into the city so far, like, you know, no other shape is so easily distinguishable. So yeah, that's why I choose to go through here. You're going to have those guards here. Just don't piss them off. I haven't seen anyone get shot here yet, but I've seen people get shot. Hello. Plastic bag, I love that. I've seen people get shot at Grimhex and at Levski, so just don't dig around the guards, alright? So just, you know, pay attention to the markings on the floor or ground, whatever. Probably on the ground. Sorry, my English is probably figured out by now, but English is not my native language, so sometimes I use weird words. So I apologize for that. But yeah, you keep following the markings, Lorville mass transit, or mass transit. And eventually you're gonna make your way to the train station or the metro center. And check on both sides, because there's not necessarily a train on both sides. Next train there, 205 seconds. And this one, no train. So I'm gonna have to wait. Once the train arrives at the station, you're gonna have a 30-second delay until it departs, and that's about how much time you have to board. And eventually, a train is gonna arrive. If you're not dead of old age or something like that. And once the train arrives, you still have to wait for it to depart. Anyways, You can just stand here. There's no reason not to do it. But personally, I just prefer sitting down because what's happening? All right. Anyways, I prefer sitting down because that way you're guaranteed not to be able to fall off the train mid-ride. That's never happened. There's no reason to believe it should happen, but just in case it may happen, that way I'm ready. And once you arrive, just don't forget to get off the train because otherwise you're going to be going back to the to the station. Or actually, I don't know. Yeah, it's the perimeter line, and there's the perimeter line. Oh, I should probably move from here because I've gotten hurt here on the station, on the pavement here. I don't know what you call that, but I've been hurt and nearly died. So you know that's one more reason to have a med pen. So there's the perimeter line, and there's the well, the industrial line is not actually in service just yet, but the spaceport line is the one that brings you to the spaceport if you choose to land through the spaceport. I don't personally because I like I told you, I don't feel like dealing with all the bull crap. So yeah, just find your way to the exit as it's you know, marked on the floor. There's no particular reason to go one way or another, but just, you know, follow the markings, and eventually you're going to be able to make your way to the Leavesden Square, I think it's called. Let's see. Yeah, Leavesden Square. Residences, production quad. Oh, interesting. And there's the spaceport line, so yeah, you just, I mean, it's semi-decently well explained. It's just, I mean, it feels like the shapes and all are so weird and unexpected that it's hard, makes it hard to navigate despite all the signage, but whatever. And also you need to remember to look at the ground despite, you know, the city being designed to get your eyes up. So right now, if you're looking for weird stuff, yeah. Anyways, if you want to go to the stores, you need to make your way here to the left. And if I'm not mistaken, to the left again. Yep, Leavesden Square, see? Here, behind, on the left here, there's going to be the hospital, but there's nothing here. So yeah, no particular reason to go there. There's a bar here, and here on the right. Oh, maybe I went to the wrong place, but through here, there is, well, a restaurant, but for now it's completely uninteresting. And in here, we've got Tomati and Son, sorry. And that's what I was talking about buying stuff from outside here. So you can buy stuff in the storefront, or you can go in and, are a little bit desync. But you can go in and buy stuff from the displays here. One thing you need to keep in mind is that the trading terminals here can actually freeze your game. In this particular version I'm running right now, so maybe by the time you watch this video, I'll be all done. So yeah, that's the actual only store there is here. So you can visit the station, and you're probably going to have a good time. I mean, it's a pretty nice place to visit. Although, I mean, from a touristic standpoint, this is garbage. I mean, I wouldn't want to visit a place like that if it wasn't real life. It's just a horrible place to be. But yeah, that's going to be it for 2 days. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you learned a few things. I'll see you next time. Until then, you take care.